Hello. Welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. My name is Liz. I'll be guiding you on this journey. This is a reading for the 1-3 Human Design Profile, the Investigator Martyr. If you don't know what your Human Design Profile is, there's a link in the description below for you to get your Human Design Body Graph, and your profile will be listed on there. Definitely be sure to check out your zodiac sign readings. Those are all ready, up, waiting. And of course, if you haven't done so already, I would love it if you subscribed to my channel. If you haven't done so already. Did I say that twice? I really don't even know. Otherwise, I'm so grateful that we are both here. So that is way too many. Way too many. Man, I'm not gonna lie. Before I even got to this chair to do this reading, it was like I was just avoiding it and but not in like a way that I didn't want to do it. It's like the feeling of like just to be on the other side of it, you know? Not wanting to have to go through it, which is interesting. It's just like, I just wish I could be past it, through it, on the other side of it, whatever. So that's interesting. I wonder if you are experiencing some of the same. These are way too many cards. Like a quarter of the deck. We can't do that because we would be here for hours. I don't have a plan for the spread. I was just going to shuffle until maybe a handful of cards came out. So we'll just keep going. They do have to come out. I don't take the flippers because we want commitment. Let's see what this is first. Queen of Cups. Beautiful. Talk about going through it. What about this Queen of Cups? Do we need to know the Star card? Kind of sideways. Love that. It almost kind of feels like a bridge. Like I wonder, which is interesting. Okay, let's just see what comes out. Three of Swords at the bottom of the deck. So the Wise One came out, or the Hierophant. Isn't that interesting? This is why I love tarot. It's almost like too how because in the Star card this person is like reaching up towards the star, right? And with it being on its side like that, it's almost like, again, being in this position, reaching for this position. There definitely seems to be some like emotional maturity here and big life lessons. Or even too, like down the road. I mean, who knows how far down the road? It doesn't even necessarily have to be that far, but it's like sharing what you have learned. It could be even finding a mentor, just somebody who has been through the same-ish kind of experience or on the same-ish path as you, but has a bit more, experience, age, knowledge. So with the Queen of Cups, what I was saying is that that kind of tracks what I was saying at the beginning, because the Court cards for the Cups, they're on this journey on a ship. And we can see back here, there's either a storm going on or just turbulent. I mean, look how big these waves are. Could you imagine being on that ship with waves like that? Like, if you're on TikTok or anywhere really, but like, have you seen those videos of the ships going through the North Sea when there's a storm going on? Oh my gosh. I don't know how people do it. I don't know. I mean, truly, it is like, trusting your vessel, trusting your ship, trusting the process, even trusting, like the captain's expertise and experience, which is actually interesting that that even came up. But and even, right, like the water or whatever liquid is like sloshing out of her cup, she looks pretty chill, right? So it's kind of like, literally, you're in the middle of, I'm like, chaos potentially going on around you. Maybe it has something to do with emotions too. Water, equals emotions in tarot and astrology. But also, again, right, like there is this level of protection. You're in this ship. This person doesn't really seem to be worried about it. Also, too, very intuitive. Like, queens for me are when you embody the energy of the suit yourself. You learn to recognize it, you learn to work with it, you learn to master it, you learn to give it to yourself, whatever the element is. And again, right, with water, it is intuition, empathy, compassion, grace. Again, I was saying too, emotional maturity, because we go through experiences, there's chaos all around us, right? And we start having emotional responses to it, regardless of if you're emotionally defined or not in your human design. But it is like recognizing, how am I feeling in this situation? How am I reacting in this situation? But it's also, it's all you, right? It's not necessarily being overly concerned with other people. I feel like that would be more the king, because by that point, there is a sense of mastery. You are able to share that like with other people. But also, right, it's like taking care of yourself first, putting your feelings first, and even too, like literally having to get comfortable with that. Because if it's a new thing, it is uncomfortable at first. But truly, like, you are your own star player, right? And you are responsible for taking care of your own star player. And also even like learning to work with your intuition. Like, how does that come through for you? Really like trusting the course here, because again, right, like there is somebody else who is in charge of the ship, who is, guiding it through the storm, through the waves. They have that experience. It doesn't even necessarily have to be another person. It certainly can be with the wise one over here. It definitely could be. Again, just somebody on your orbit that is helping to guide you through this process. And even too, like helping you process those emotions, even helping you to like recognize what those emotions are. Because again, if there's something new happening where you haven't necessarily really ever paid attention to your emotions, and especially also like having to put words to that, which is like usually where I get caught up, because I'm like, I can feel it, I just don't know how to like get that out of my mouth. I mean, it could even be you just having conversations with people in general about different things, about, being very vulnerable and very honest and open with your feelings, like, being open to receive opinions, guidance, wanting to hear other people's experiences too. I'm definitely like, I'm one of those people where I have to talk about things 505 times with 200 different people. I mean, not really. I don't know that many people. But I will literally just kind of repeat myself a bunch of times. And I do want to hear other people's experiences, their advice. And then I'm definitely the type of person that's going to do what I want to do, but at the same time, like, I have more information of like what's possible, right? Like, it helps me understand there are many different options, many different perceptions, many different ways to feel about a thing. And also it helps me to like process through my own emotions, because I'm like, oh, honestly, I didn't even think about it that way. Or yeah, now I can pinpoint that emotion as being something similar to that. Like, that's helping me understand where that's coming from, or whatever, right? And then, like I said, with the star card, that's Aquarius. Pluto is in Aquarius right now. So wherever like Aquarius is for you, and that's just, big transformations, big changes, but also things that are going to take time. This is the slowest moving planet, right? It takes 20ish years to move through a planet, and depending on how old you are, think of how much can change in a week, a day, a month, a literal year. Imagine that scale like in 20 years, right? Like, whatever is kind of going on here now, 20 years from now, you're going to look back and be like, oh my God, I do that. Like, I look back to when I was 20 and I'm like, holy crow, just what I was going through at the time, what I thought I knew, what I thought I understood, what I thought I wanted, what my hopes and dreams were at the time also, because that's a star card. It is your hopes and dreams, faith, trusting the process, trusting the guidance, trusting yourself even here too, trusting like the journey that you're on, where you are being guided to go, because they're heading towards something, which means that they are moving away from something else. And also too, I mean, she's not even looking back. She's looking forward too. Like, the right side of the card is the future, the left side of the card is the past. She is fully focused on the future. I also see the star as being like the literal space between the 5D, heaven came to mind, right? Like the ethers, and then us down here in the 3D, like experiencing our realities as it is. Like, the star is literally that place right between, the 5D, where we are manifesting, creating, getting clear in our vision and our feelings. Where do we see ourselves going? How do we want to get there? What kind of feelings are those things going to, I don't know, bring up in us? All of a sudden I like kind of lost. And then, right, so we're out there creating, manifesting, right, like getting clear on the vision, and then the star kind of anchoring those two things together, like pulling it down into the 3D, where we are taking actions towards the things, trusting that vision too, right? Wishing on a star. Maybe you'll see a shooting star sometime soon. Be sure to make a wish. And then, like I said, the wise one here, this is Taurus. Wherever Taurus is for you, if it matters. I mean, honestly, it doesn't even feel like necessarily it makes a difference, but just pointing that out. And, we can see this elder here sitting around a campfire with these two people, and the explanation here is that this elder is passing along their wisdom, their knowledge, their training, their expertise, even their trade, right? Like to these two people. I don't know if I ever read from the book with this card, so let me see. The wise one is traditionally known as a hierophant. In this card, he represents a spiritual leader, the shaman. We witness the exchange between the healer and his people, a sacred moment when he is passing down his knowledge and wisdom. Tradition is important to him, something that has taken generations to acquire and master and cannot be achieved through solitude or isolation. The fire is burning bright, and with its heat, it warms their souls and lights the path of enlightenment. When this card appears, know that perhaps some spiritual guidance is coming your way. There are many forms through which this knowledge can come into your life, perhaps through a counselor or a spiritual mentor. However, it may be guidance. However it may be, guidance is coming your way. The wise one is a card of doctrine and of spiritual tradition. And at its core, tradition is in general, is passed down and continues living within a group setting. Perhaps you've been searching for a group of spiritually minded people to connect with. If spiritual doctrine is not your cup of tea, then a good balance would come through incorporating some aspects of tradition to your spiritual practice. Things that could become ritual, that could feed your soul. I mean, truly too, like this could be going back to school. However that looks, I mean, it doesn't have to be like traditional college, but it could be a certification, getting your license of some type, right? Because that's kind of, quote unquote, traditional in the sense of there's a teacher, professor, somebody who is already in the field, already has an expertise at it, and they are training or passing that knowledge along to you. It could be a job, like either starting a new job or even a promotion if that's what you're looking for, because there would also be like training or a mentor there too. I just feel like the book was a little heavy on like spirituality, which is, fine. I mean, of course, if that's something that you are currently interested in, great. But just to kind of broaden that out a little bit, we have, like I said, the Three of Swords at the bottom of the deck, Two of Swords, Seven of Wands. I'm kind of curious. Wheel of Fortune, Two of Pentacles, Ace of Swords. This depiction of the Three of Swords is less about heartbreak and more about like lessons learned. We can see that, there's three swords sticking out of this book, and all of the, the words are flying off the page and going into their head. The traditional Three of Swords does talk about like rejection, heartbreak, disappointment, betrayal. This depiction to me though feels like believing what you're seeing. Truths. Swords have to do with truth and honesty, right? Logic, reason, intelligence, even, the investigation part, right, of your profile. If you have, researched something, reading about something, discovering something, whatever it is, again, like to me, it just has this vibe of believing what you're seeing. And even too, like with the words kind of flying off the page as they are and going into this person's brain, it also feels like not being able to unsee something. Like it is like a picture that is like burned in your brain, like one of those things where you're just like, I'm never not going to be able to unsee that. And then the Wheel of Fortune here, which is Jupiter, Sagittarius or Pisces. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in Pisces right now, like between Aries and Pisces. There's a Venus retrograde that's going to be popping back into Pisces. There's a Mercury retrograde coming up that's going to be going back into Pisces. The North Node is in Pisces right now. Saturn, the Sun is in Pisces right now. Later degree Pisces. So I don't really think that there's anything happening in Sagittarius right now that I know of. But literally, the Wheel of Fortune just says, however things have been in the recent past, they're going to change. I always see the Wheel of Fortune as being a good card. So it's going to change for the better. Even, there's this flower that's growing here, like something blossoming. We have the Two of Swords and the Two of Pentacles, which is interesting. Two of Swords is indecision. Again, even like I was saying at the beginning of this reading, I almost said the beginning of class. Like, what the... Class is in session. Again, right? It's like not really wanting to like go through it, just wanting to be like on this side and then on the other side, not any of the middle. The Two of Swords talks about indecision. They have these two masks here. Which one do they wear? Right? Like how to present themselves, but also like there is a decision that needs to be made. And two, part of the reason why there's like two masks here is because of being in that like analysis paralysis, right? Like that back and forth thing for too long. The Two of Pentacles is about balance. I always see the Two of Pentacles as being like the adulting card, like balancing responsibilities, the never ending, stuff that like comes with being an adult, work life balance, making enough money to afford your bills, like, all of that. And the Two of Pentacles is the balance of those things. There is some level of balance that's coming out here, because there is a decision that is going to be made, has been made, because now, like there is this bridge here. And regardless of, if you can intuit, if you can see what is on the other side, there is going to be balance, and literally just trust the process. The Seven of Wands and the Ace of Swords. The Seven of Wands is having to defend yourself, like self-defense, stand your ground, defend your actions. Wands have to do with action. I also see like these Six Wands down here as being other people's projections. Usually it's like their reasons why they could never do what you're doing, or, like they don't understand it. They wouldn't do it themselves. It's scary, whatever. And you're like, okay, but you're not the one doing it. I am. And I probably didn't ask, right? Like, as if I need any more anxiety about it, Also, too, though, like this to me just really feels like forging your own path, because like I keep getting this vision in my head of like somebody with a machete, like cutting through overgrown bush in a jungle or whatever, right? Like, and they're like literally just like clearing their own path. That's how this Seven of Wands feels to me, which is way better than like having to defend yourself. I mean, it does, that is what the card talks about, but like feeling into it more, it feels like forging your own path. And it could even be these wands could even be like your own roadblocks that you set up. Like we all do it, limiting beliefs, not getting enough rest, again, even just reasons why not to, just like kind of overall losing motivation for it. And, like this card is literally like, you have the means to forge your own path, do your own thing, like in your own image. But it is going to take your energy, your motivation to like go after it. The Ace of Swords here, holding the sword of truth. It's interesting how we have Ace, 2, 3 of Swords, or 3, 2, 1, right? Like, how interesting is that? It's almost kind of like what you have learned here, whatever it was, whether it was from a book, whether it was about yourself, about somebody else, about your situation, about life, whatever this is, right? It almost kind of put you into this like this cycle of like, what do I do? Right? Like what mask do I put on? And it could have been changing hourly, daily, right? Weekly, whatever. But it also, it like kind of created this environment of like, what is the word? Not like cloning. Even in this Two of Pentacles, we can see how, it looks like there are two people here, but it's like, it's the same. It's like you, but I feel like there's a word for it and it is just not going to come to my mind. When like a part of you separates from yourself, I don't know, like some kind of like split. But because again, right, it's like focusing on these two options, these two versions, also even trying to like discern what is true. And with the Two of Pentacles, it's like, kind of handling two different aspects of your life, but there's some kind of like disconnect in there. That's kind of interesting how that even came through. I'm glad I saw that though before I ended the reading. But aces are brand new. Swords, again, having to do with the mind. They're holding the sword of truth here. And just, all of the like possibility, like the book talks about a seed being planted and, this tree growing from it. Like I was even saying over here with the Wheel of Fortune, something blooming. All of the possibility, like truly the sky is the limit. And you can even go past that if you want to. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you. Thank you so much for allowing me to go on this journey with you. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.